Alright guys, I want to just make a quick public service announcement. If you're watching this video right now, please just take a look at the viewer count. If you can, hit the like button. If you bang with your boy Boost and you subscribe to the channel, please hit the like button. I'm only as successful as you guys make me, and I give you guys the best content that I can as possible all the time. If you hit like on every single video, my channel will only grow because of your participation. Boost is only as good as you guys make me. Always hit the like button. If I could get 50% ratio compared to views of likes versus views, that would be insane. They will repeat, YouTube will send and suggest my video to people who don't even know about Q50s. That is how the algorithm works. So anyways, let's continue with the video. Alright guys, so let's jump right into it. So you guys saw the title. Yo, so Boost, you coming to the BMW game? We'll talk about it at the end of the video on what my decision is. But I want to talk about the other cars that I actually did consider looking into. So let's get into it. Number one, a lot of you guys have been hinting to this, and I've talked about this in the past. I would say in the last year, GTR. But I have to X the GTR off. Reason being is, even though the pros is, the GTR is actually holding its value. From the early 2009 all the way up to the latest versions, you know, depending on how much appreciation they get, they're actually, older models are actually going up in appreciation, at least within the last 2 years. So it's very hard to find a GTR in a $30,000 to $40,000 realm, unless it was rebuilt or had some crazy things happen to it. But in the last year, especially what we're going through in this year, equity, those cars have actually been gaining equity. But in all honesty, because this is my YouTube, and the GTR to me isn't really a dream car anymore. No disrespect to any of you guys, but I rented it about 2-3 years ago, and I really do love the car. It is very fun to drive. It definitely does bring in a lot of people. It really does feel like a supercar. But at the end of the day, as a daily driver, even though it could be daily drive, I wouldn't want to put too much miles on that car. Reason being is the transmission is very clunky. I know that wears and tears over a while. I wouldn't want to put too much miles on the turbos, and I know I would definitely modify this car in 93. So longevity wise, I wouldn't want the GTR to see too much mileage. I would have to get a second car with it. But finally, I don't think that would really translate to the channel in views. Even though you guys bang with me and you guys do watch the channel, I believe the YouTube is definitely saturated with a lot of GTR content, and anything that I'll do with the GTR, even though I'll be very analytical with me modifying it, at the end of the day, I don't think it'll bring a big amount of viewership, at least not yet, and I'm just not ready to dive into that car note right now. All right, so let's move forward. Second car I was looking into, people actually throwing this at me, and I did look into this car, the Genesis G70. I think this car is very much a lateral move if you guys watch football. Reason being is the G70 is luxurious, just like the Q50, and its interior and infotainment is actually better, more up to date. But what I would sit there and say is, I couldn't see myself committing to their lease rates. It's about high $500, $600 a month. So even though it's more expensive than Infiniti, I couldn't make that commitment to a Genesis. Even though some people might say I'm brand loyal, I just couldn't see myself spending that much. I would think that if they would want to compete with other luxurious brands, that they will be cheaper than other brands, but they really run around the same price of a 340 or a Red Sport. I just couldn't see myself doing that. Also, in the used market, they're still quite expensive. And finally, when it comes to performance, they really still have a low glass ceiling. Even though they do have some cars that are in 11s or pretty fast cars, I just think that the aftermarket support just hasn't grown for the G70. And to throw this in there as a bonus with that is a Kia Stinger. Kia Stinger is in my style, guys. I think the car is a nice car for what it is. I definitely driven and reviewed one, but it's not something that I'm looking to get. And I think that, my honest opinion is, I think the Kia Stinger is a good looking car for what it is, but it's an acquired taste. I think that the Q50 is definitely better looking than it, and I just couldn't see myself getting into a car that isn't as good looking. All right. The third amount of cars I was actually looking into was actually, yes, Mopar dudes. Not the 392 guys, even though I love them, you know, their cars, their pistons are made of cast, and any 50 shot of boost and it might just lose their pistons. But in all seriousness, I was actually looking into the Dodge Charger Red Eye. Yes, I was looking into the Dodge Charger Red Eye. Think about it, guys. That is the most powerful sedan on the market. Yes, it's American junk, like you guys like to sit there and say, but it's the most powerful sedan on the market. It fills all the checks, majority of checks I would want for a daily driver. Does come with a warranty, and I think it's an amazing car. But there's two things that it definitely doesn't check off for me. One is it's not all-wheel drive. Now you guys will say, go get a Trackhawk. Nah, I'm good. Trackhawk has been out for so long, and I think the Trackhawk is so, I think the Cherokees are so dated based on the body style. At least they added a wide body to the Charger and Challengers to make it look more up to date. And number two, you can't modify it. If I lease the Dodge wide body Red Eye, there's really no tuning it, because they've locked the PCM, where if you try to tune it, that's it, Dodge knows. Like, they automatically know. It's not like the Q50s where you tune it and it has a flash counter. Like, no, there's going to be hidden codes that pop up and for any type of service, and you're screwed. So that's why most people with Hellcats and Red Eyes that are newer, they don't modify their cars. They just throw tires on it and they slide those cars, or drift them, or take them to the racetrack, and that's pretty much it. It's usually the guys who have the older Hellcats that unlock the PCM and swaps the PCMs that actually start to modify their cars. That's why you don't see a lot of fast Hellcats unless that person has a deep pocket and don't give a F. All right. So those are the two check marks that kind of turn me off towards the Dodge Charger. But listen, if they would have made that car all-wheel drive, I will run right to them. All right. Moving forward, out of all those cars now, I know you guys can probably write other stuff in the comments. I did have a lot of people who actually said, when I was actually looking into this car, this was a few months back, F80 and F82s. I definitely think the prices have definitely come down. They're right around the high 30s for the earlier models. They're relatively reliable cars. You gotta be honest, guys. Those F80, F82s are really reliable cars. But there's a few things that it doesn't check off for me. One, no all-wheel drive. That's it. I need the all-wheel drive, guys. That's very important. The all-wheel drive is very important. I wouldn't get that car stick. I'll keep it dual clutch. Everyone says the dual clutch is better. I've driven one. Definitely dual clutch is better. I haven't driven a stick shift one, but I've driven stick shift BMWs. So I would assume if everyone's saying it's better, the dual clutch. And to be honest, even though most people respect the M3, I think the M3 would also give views to the channel. Once again, it just still doesn't fit my style of driving, because at stoplights, it's always gonna lose. That's it. That's it. Like, I don't care how fast you are. If you can daily drive a car and it doesn't take off when you want to take off, like a GTR or any other high performance all drive car, then it takes the fun away from it. Why do I have to be moving to give it gas and then get swirly and hit a pole? I'm good. I'm not doing it. I'm just not there yet, guys, all right, when it comes to wheel control. But at the end of the day, I do like F80, F82s, and I think those cars are relatively dope. All right, so finally, we're coming down to a few cars that I'm actually looking at, because you guys made it past the 5-minute mark. Most of you guys already run and leave because I'm boring and everything. The cars that I've spoken about actually was considering is the G37 6-speed manual coupe, guys. Stop sending me sedans. I've had the sedan already. Had a 2007 G35X. I already modified and had my fun. So I'm not going to get back into sedan. I've always loved the look of the coupes. I do want a 6-speed manual. I would take probably the clean drop top red automatic coupe with red seats. But at the end of the day, I really want the manual. One, pro is because I really want to know how to drive stick. Two, at the end of the day, I really love like the way the car look. And three, I think that would be more of my really daily driver, because I was trying to get one early this year when I had my Q50, because I was going to say I was going to keep it and upgrade the turbos on it. But then times changed. Also, the G37 was like $10,000 for 2008. For what? It's going to come with a gallery gasket issue. I'm going to need to spend another 2 G's just to get the gallery gasket changed, because I don't want to blow the motor, you know? So at the end of the day, I never chose to get that car, but I have seen the prices come down at the later part of 2020. And whenever they pop up for 6,000 or 7,000, they go fast. I'm talking about the next day or the next day. And most of the time, I don't have the time. Or I find a deal out of state, but to drive out of state, go pick up a car and drive it back, and with what's going on right now in the world, it's not convenient or easy. So at the end of the day, that car was supposed to be more of a second car for the channel, because I can't have that car as the only car on my channel that I daily drive in New York City during the wintertime. 6-speed manual. That doesn't sound fun at all. But I do still want that car for the channel, and I don't think that dream is going away, because it's the most affordable dream that I can actually get to. Second car, matter of fact, is actually the Q60. I'm definitely looking into the Q60. One, because, hey, guess what? I'm still an Infiniti brand. It is a VR30, and I'm familiar with the car. I've always liked that look of that car too. The coupe looks really good, really amazing. But at the end of the day, why would I get a G37 and a Q60? I'll have two coupes. I'm a sedan lover. Isn't that kind of weird? I don't know. We'll see what happens. But that's one thing I'm also considering. Now let's finally make it to the BMW section out of the F80 and F82s, because you guys definitely didn't make it this part. All right, so the M340i. Am I considering getting this car? And I'm gonna tell you guys the pros and cons. Let's jump. So number one, the pros is it's all-wheel drive. Two, it is a luxurious brand. It is a lateral move from the Q50. When I mean lateral, guys, it's in the same class. Even though the B58 and the DF transmission is better, this is still not an M car. No disrespect to any of my fellow BMW owners. I know you watching. It is not an M car. Come on, let's be honest. Guys who have M cars know that this isn't an M car. And they're probably in the comment below and be like, we respect that car, but it's not an M car. That's the straight up deal. So, but it has a performance potential because of the B58 and ZF transmission. To be honest with you guys, aesthetically, I think the newer 2019, 2020 versions are really good looking. Definitely up to the same look of the Q50, maybe even better when in the sport bumpers and everything. But outside of that, that's where it really stops. I don't want to commit to a lease rate of about $500 to $600 a month on an M340i. Also on top of that, on the used market, that car is still for about $40,000, $45,000, because I would only get like the newer 2018, 2019 models. The older models you can get the B58 in, but they have different techs and everything like that, slightly out of date, and I wouldn't want to invest that money into it, even though you get those cars right around the mid to high 20s. I still wouldn't consider doing that. Honestly, with you guys too, I don't want to say I'm brand loyal, but because I said it earlier, if I'm gonna get a BMW, I want to get an M car. And to me, that is like, I know I would end up getting a 340, and then I'm like, but I want the M. So in all honesty, guys, I'm not getting the M340i. I'm not. I respect the car. I respect the drivetrain. I respect the drivers, and I'm living through them. I watch their YouTubes and Instagram. Shout out to one stock F30, and shout out to just another 340i, and a few other Instagrammers and YouTubers I watch. Slow Speed too. So I'm living through them, and I see the performance game. But to be honest, to me, it feels like people are just jumping over to the M340i because they're like, I'm just tired of Q50s, and there's not much other cars within that. No disrespect to any guys, but there's not much other cars within that price range that they actually can offer. And it's truth, and it's being honest, truthful. Out of all within that specific bracket, these cars actually fit into that category. Anything outside that, we'll have to go to an RS or an M or a 63 AMG. You know what I'm saying? And those will be the next level of car. This is a lateral, the G70, the 340i, the Q50, the new TLX. You guys even talked about the TLX. Those are all within the same category. You know what I'm saying? So no disrespect, but I'm not looking into getting the M340i. Now, for the people who made it to this part, because you really bang on me, because most of you guys like to run out. I'm telling you, you guys always leave. Your boy Boost is also looking into the brand new M3 that's coming out. Here's the pros that's gonna be about this car. Number one, it's a true M car. Two, even though people will sit there and say it's not really because it doesn't have all the nids and nads and stuff, the S58 is gonna be freaking historic. Let's be honest, because look at the M5 right now, historic. People respect that car. So it's gonna be all-wheel drive. It's gonna be the S58 driveline, which pretty much means it's a derivative of the B58, but better with 2 turbos rather than 1. So that car is gonna be dope. Right now, if you look up X3M, X4Ms with the S58 and see what they're doing just tuned on a heavy crossover SUV, those cars are doing a low 11s, 10 seconds with just like 93 fuel and good DA and good air. Literally, I'm serious. So just imagine it 600, 700 pounds lighter in all-wheel drive. Freaking amazing. Also on top of that, the interior, I'm falling in love with the interior. It has carbon fiber bucket seats. Tell me how much cars you know right now that come OEM in an entry-level sport sedan and coupe that comes with carbon fiber bucket seats. I'll wait. You know what I'm saying? Finally, outside of that, to be honest with you guys, I know that car note, the negatives is the car note is going to be probably like close to $1,000 a month. I can see that happening. That is kind of a hefty thing to price in. But for the actual M experience and what it can actually bring to the channel, I think would actually be pretty freaking dope. That's the only negative, and also committing to that. But I am a 4-door lover though. I am a 4-door lover because I would commit to a red high Hellcat lease for the next 3 years, but it's not all-wheel drive. And I also will commit to an M3 all-wheel drive lease for the next 3 years too. So don't think that this car isn't the car that I'm actually looking into. I know you guys are watching and just mad at me, but it's probably hitting the dislike button for what? At the end of the day, I'm gonna be honest, because we're like right on the 15-minute mark. The reason why the Q50, I get a lot of phone calls and texts from you guys and messages on boostinmotion IG about how much love you guys support me, right? But here's the thing. Even though y'all bang with me because of the Q50 and some of you bang with me because of my personality, it doesn't translate to the growth of the channel. If I had a Hellcat with my type of personality, I mean, I'm just a little analytical about things, I think this channel will be a lot bigger, a lot more viewers, and a lot more people will be following me, because there's not much YouTube channels that are in that Mopar community that really break stuff down for you. They just race people on a highway and say clout, clout, clout. I'm clout chasing, that's it. There's more about entertainment. They're not more about breaking stuff down for you and teaching you stuff, and actually letting you guys know. So I think if I got into the M community with how analytical with things and talk about things, then once again, knowing that's number one, go Google it right now, put it in the new M3. Look how much views get for whoever take a video or have anything dealing with an M3. No matter the subscriber count. People want to know about this car. When it comes to, well, with the exception of the Christmas stuff on the walls, right? With the exception of that, when you look at that wall, right, and you look at these kids, when I was a kid, you're not gonna see a Q50 on the wall. And when I was a kid, I dreamed about Maxima, 1995, and I love the way that car looked. But my true dream cars were not a 95 Maxima. It was like Mustang GT, Ford GTs, and like those really expensive high-end cars. And even up until a few years ago, when they had dropped the F80, I had the F80 on my cover photo on Facebook for the good minute. I love the way that car looked, the older M3. So at the end of the day, I believe that the new M3 is gonna be some people's dream cars, and it brings a lot of eyes. People want to know what you do to it, want to understand it, and that car is gonna continue to go down in history, because the Q50 is only really relevant to the United States, but the M3 is relevant to the whole world. At the end of the day, I mean, listen, I get it. It may not translate to viewership at the start because most of you guys are Infiniti Nissan cats, but at the end of the day, y'all guys always respect a fast car. And y'all respect the car who puts in the business and knows what it does. Because at the end of the day, most of us want to upgrade. As much as we love Q50s, G37s, and we might rock with them, put turbos on them, supercharge them, and upgrade the turbos, we all end up leaving the platform, and Nissan Infiniti doesn't give us anything above that. There's nothing else above that. But when you go to other auto manufacturers, you get tired of your M340i, guess what you're going to get? Boom, an M3. Period. That's what most, or you move to the M5. Or you move up to the M6 or M8. You get what I'm saying? Infiniti just doesn't give you guys that. So at the end of the day, to just quickly rebuttal everything and put it back, right now your boy Boost is looking for number one, M3 all-wheel drive. The first one's coming out next year. We'll see what happens. 2, Q60 all-wheel drive, 2017 and up. Looking into that car. 3. That was gang sign, sorry. 3 was actually the G37 6-speed manual G37. But I tell you guys, if I get that car, it can't be my only car. So we will see what happens. But outside of that, guys, if you want to support me, support the channel, there's a Teespring account below that you guys can definitely check out. Buy some merch. I think I have beanies and things up like that now if you want to support the channel. But outside of that, guys, you have good morning, good afternoon, good night. Appreciate you guys. Thank you guys. You have a good day.